trying to fix them. I know those words sound harsh because if you are watching this, chances are you have spent months, maybe even years, believing that if you love them enough, explain yourself better, stay more patient, or sacrifice just a little more, they will finally change. You convince yourself that underneath the manipulation, underneath the lies, underneath the anger, there was a wounded person just waiting to heal. So you kept trying, you forgave things you never imagined you would forgive. You ignore your own pain. You carried the emotional weight of two people, and somehow nothing got better. Instead, the arguments become more confusing. The promises become emptier. The apologies become shorter. And you started wondering if maybe you were the problem. Today, I want to explain something that many survivors don't hear until far too late. The reason you cannot change a narcissist isn't because you are not loving enough. It isn't because you failed. It isn't because you didn't try hard enough. It's because you are trying to solve a problem that was never yours to solve. By the end of the video, you will understand exactly why narcissistic behavior resists change, why your effort often make you feel even more trapped, and what you can do instead of reclaim your own peace. Let's begin. Number one, when relationship begin with someone high in narcissistic traits, they rarely begin with cruelty. They often begin with intensity. You feel deeply understood, you feel chosen, you feel special. They tell you that you are different from everyone else. You believe you have finally found someone who truly sees you. Psychologists often describe this stage as idealization. Everything feels perfect, but eventually something changes. Criticism appear, section become conditional, conversations become confusing. You find yourself constantly apologizing for things you don't even remember doing wrong. Instead of questioning their behavior, you question yourself. And that exactly when many people begin believing, if I can just love them better, they will become the person I met. That hope become your emotional prison because you are no longer living in reality. You are living in potential. You are in love with who they could become instead of accepting who they consistently chosen to be. Number two, before we continue, it is important to understand something. Not everyone who is selfish is a narcissist. Not everyone who is arrogant has a narcissistic personality disorder. Real narcissism exists on a spectrum. Some people have narcissistic traits, others met the clinical criteria for narcissistic personality disorder. Only qualified mental health professional can diagnose NPD. But regardless of diagnosis, the relationship patterns often look remarkably similar. Grandiosity, a constant need for admiration, lack of empathy, manipulation, blame shifting, gaslighting, control, and intense defensiveness. These behaviors are not random, they are protective. Imagine someone spending decades building a psychological fortress around themselves. Every criticism feel like an attack. Every mistake feel like humiliation. Every disagreement feel like danger. Their ego isn't simply inflated. It's fragile. And because of its fragile, they protect it at almost any cost. That's why logic rarely works. Facts rarely work. Love alone rarely works. Because you are not arguing with their words. You are challenging the defense system they have built over a lifetime. Number three, this is the part that changes everything. Real change requires two things: accountability and introspection. Accountability means saying, I was wrong. Introspection means asking, why did I do that? Healthy emotional growth depends on both. But for someone with high narcissistic defense, both feels threatening. Instead of accountability, they blame. Instead of introspection, they project. Instead of apologizing, they rewrite history. Instead of reflecting, they attack the messenger. Think about how many conversations ended like this. You calmly explain how their word hurt you. Minutes later, you found yourself defending your own character. You walked into the conversation wanting resolution. You walked out apologizing. That's not an accident. That's the defensive cycle. The more you point towards their behavior, the more they point towards yours. Not because they are saving the problem, because they are protecting their self image. So every attempt to fix them feels to them like another attack, and the walls only become stronger. If this video is helping you understand something you have struggled with for a long time, please take a second to like this video. It helps YouTube share this message with people who may be silently living through the same experience. And if you want practical, psychology based guidance or emotional abuse, narcissistic relationship healing, and rebuilding your confidence, subscribe and join our community. One of the hardest questions survivors ask themselves is, if they are hurting me, why can't I leave emotionally? The answer isn't weakness, it's hope. Hope keeps saying they will go back to how they used to be. Hope remembers the good days. Hope remembers the promises. Hope remembers the person from the beginning. But here is a painful truth: potential is not reality. Promises are not change. Words are not transformation. Real change is measured by consistent behavior over a time, not emotional speeches after another argument, not dramatic apologize, not temporary improvement. Without consistency, nothing has actually changed. And waiting for someone to become the person you imagine can cost you years of your own life. Where your energy belongs. Not changing them, changing your relationship with the situation. That start with the boundaries. The boundary isn't punishment, it's protection. A boundary says this behavior has consequences, not you have to become someone else. It also means letting go of responsibility for another adult emotional growth. You cannot heal someone who refuses to acknowledge they are wounded. You cannot force empathy. You cannot love someone into accountability. You cannot sacrifice enough to earn healthy treatment. The more energy you spend trying to rescue them, the less energy you have left to rescue yourself. Your healing began the moment your focus shifts away from changing them and towards protecting your own peace. So, if there is one message I want you to remember today, it is it is this: that you are not falling because they won't change. You are exhausted because you have been carrying responsibility that never belonged to you. Their healing is their responsibility. Your healing is yours. You deserve relationship where respect doesn't have to be earned through the endless sacrifice. You deserve conversations that don't leave you, questions your memory. You deserve peace and doesn't depend on someone else's approval. So stop asking, how do I fix them? And start asking, how do I protect myself? The simple question has changed countless lives. If this message resonated with you, I had loved to hear from you in the comments. What is one boundary you are finally ready to set for yourself? Sometime writing it down is the first step towards making it real. So thank you for watching. Take care of yourself and I will see you in the next video.